Hey everyone, I'm here with Ray Bedier from Razor Training Systems, and full disclosure, Ray is my business partner and I'm a partner in Razor Training Systems. But today we wanted to just have a conversation about the sales process and where things are at. So Razor, how you doing?
I'm good. Jeff, how you doing, buddy?
I'm awesome.
Great.
We're in different locations, but still chatting on a daily basis. So Ray, what are your thoughts just on the whole sales process? Right now, we've got a lot of companies out there that, I mean, things have been, jarring over the past couple of months here, but what are your thoughts about how companies should be looking at sales and the process and what they should be doing now when we're not totally certain of what the future looks like? But any thoughts on that?
Well, Jeff, you said a great word, process, and with what we're dealing with right now, I'll go on record and say the sales process doesn't change. The timing changes, the environment has changed, a lot of dynamics have changed, but at the end of the day, man, it's still about prospecting. It's still about trying to reach out and get meetings with people. It's still about having, interaction and conversations with people. It's still about presenting, and it's still about advancing or gaining agreement. It's a longer window right now. The unknown has scared people away from the foundation, but we still got to be covering those bases and still kind of moving things forward.
Well, you know what, and you and I talk about that. Is now the time to go out and sell somebody, and we need to keep advancing. We need to stay in business, but it's now about first and foremost checking in with people and making sure they're okay. But we also got to get back to business, right?
Well, Jeff, the reality is, with what has taken place, it threw a big kink into business, but transactions are happening with you or without you. People still have to acquire goods and services. People still have to make decisions. People still have to plan. We know that we're at least somewhat coming out of this now, so we know the future is a little brighter than the last couple of months have been, and that's not the time to go, okay, let's get at it. We've got to start practicing. We've got to start laying down the foundation. It's no different than professional sports and what they're dealing with right now. And if you take it from the athlete side, they're all on the bench right now. They're all at home. But the minute one of the leagues decides that they want to go, they're not going to immediately jump into full game action. They're going to have to go practice to get warmed up. They're going to have to get their timing down, get their physical conditioning down. It's the same thing in sales. I don't necessarily always want to have a sports equation into what we do into selling, but it's the same thing. We've got to be professional in what we do and practicing and getting ready.
Well, and again, and you and I have had some real good success with just reaching out to people and just seeing how they're doing. We're finding we're getting a lot more Zoom calls. People are willing to talk. But again, it's not the hard sell. It's about what are the plans when you come back? What does the new normal look like? How is your team set up? How can we help you make sure that when things do kick into action, that you're set up for success? And I think that's what companies should be doing, because I think some people have been a bit shell-shocked where they've just been like a deer in the headlights and they've just stopped doing things, which we both know that's the wrong approach.
The model we've always applied and adopted and been very open with our customers on is we're a relationship model. It's about starting relationships, maintaining relationships, and keeping relationships. I believe that's where the annuity is when you have long-term customers. And so because of that, yeah, maybe the timing, over the last month or so hasn't been great at advancing and gaining agreements, but I think the timing has been outstanding at developing and building those relationships. A lot of people are at home. It seems people were way more willing to interact with us. It seems people were more readily picking up the phone, and we were having chances to have those meaningful conversations and at least set the groundwork and set the foundation. We are going to come out of this, and the last thing we want to do is kind of be behind the eight ball. I want to be able to kind of come out of the chute running. And, I think anyone that I've talked to is well prepared now for that. And anyone we're working with is well prepared. And, I would say even at Razor Training, we're well poised for it as well.
Well, and again, you and I talk all the time that, I mean, unfortunately, and very unfortunately, the pie may be a little bit smaller when we come out of this. And so we need to be able to get ourselves set up to take a bigger piece of that pie and really differentiate ourselves. And so continuing to prospect, continuing to reach out, continuing to fine tune and reassure customers as to how your business is adapting to the new changes, whether it's safety procedures or a different way of delivering services. Another thing that motivation is can be tough these days. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, motivation to me is a discipline, and it's a discipline that you got to have desire, you got to have dedication for as well. And you know, I'm not. I've never been a big believer that other people have to motivate you. I think you have to be self-motivated. You know, I know in our world over these last few months, for the most part, besides working from different locations, nothing changed. We were up early, we shined up early, we were on the phone, we were advancing, we were making calls, we were doing all the disciplines of the process. And you know, the words I always use is failing was just not an option. And you know, and we had many conversations about this as well, Jeff. There was a few days that were a little rougher than some other days, but you know, we had each other to bounce ideas off of, and you know, get up the next morning, and then next morning's a new day, and we'd start fresh and make it happen. And you know, I think I can go on record saying we had way more successful days than we had bad days. We had more days that, you know, we advanced things and moved forward, and we did high fives than days that kind of beat us up. And you know, I think you get beat up sometimes even in a real world, let alone a, you know, a crazy world. And you know, it's still about picking yourself up and still about moving forward and advancing.
Well, and again, and both of us, we've looked at this opportunity as it's an opportunity to really fine tune things and make sure that what we're offering is tight and solid. And I think that, you know, that's the best thing, and that's what other people could be doing. Any final thoughts, Ray, in which you would have comments you'd have for people out there, whether they got a sales team, whether you're selling homes or vehicles or engineering services or pro sports? Any final thoughts or comments you'd have for people that are out there?
You know, Jeff, I've always gone on record and said there's three things you sell. You got to sell your services. You know, you got to sell the brand of the organization you're with. But the number one thing you got to sell, and you got to sell it always, is yourself. And I think that's what really elevated a lot of people through this time, was just having the motivation to go sell yourself, build relationships, really help people trying to get through this with some empathy and compassion. The empathy, compassion, that's kind of, for the most part, and please don't get me wrong, has run its course now. Now I think it's time to be just a little bit more proactive, be a bit more intuitive, looking for opportunities, be a little bit more aggressive in going after things, because we're coming out of this, and selling ourselves isn't going to change. We're still going to have to sell ourselves first and foremost. I've had a lot of great conversations on that topic with a lot of organizations, from pro sports organizations to real estate, to the real estate sector, to oil and gas sector. It's all about, now we got to dial in, and now we got to create value for ourselves, and why companies should come and work with me.
Awesome, sir. Thanks, buddy. I appreciate you taking the time, and we'll definitely be in touch here.
Attaboy, Jeffy. Thanks.
Thanks, man.